Hello, everybody.
Welcome to a new program of That's English.
This unit deals with some aspects of American history. Today's documentary is about the first British settlers.
Efectivamente, en nuestro documental hablaremos sobre algunos de estos primeros colonos, como los puritanos del Mayflower. La palabra para designar a un colono es settler.
And, as you can guess, to settle means colonizar.
To found significa fundar, por ejemplo, fundar una ciudad. Y to set up or establish a colony significa crear o establecer una colonia.
Now we're going to ask you some questions. You have to pay attention to the documentary to find out the answers for those questions.
The first question is, who were the Pilgrim Fathers?
Our next question is, in what way were the Spanish and British colonizations different?
And the last question is, what did the colonization of America mean for Great Britain? Give just one example.
And now, let's find out about the early years of North America in the Out
and About.
The United States of America has played a very important role in the spread of English throughout the world. But it all began with a few determined English settlers.
In the middle of the 16th century, England was experiencing a serious economic crisis, and as Spain had already colonized Central and South America, the new explorers had to go to the north of the New World to find new lands. (1607) was an important date in the British colonization of the New World. Captain John Smith arrived at Hampton Road on the shores of Virginia with a group of settlers. Here they founded the city of Jamestown, the first English colony in North America. Jamestown started to grow thanks to the cultivation and export of a new crop, tobacco.
In the meantime, important social and religious changes were taking place in England. A group of Puritans refused to accept the newly established Anglican Church and had to leave the country. In 1620, 103 of these Puritans set out from Plymouth in England on a ship called the Mayflower. They were the Pilgrim Fathers.
The Mayflower landed at Cape Cod in present-day Massachusetts. The Pilgrim Fathers decided to set up a new colony, to which they gave the name Plymouth. A year later, when they gathered the first harvest, they gave thanks to God. This is the origin of Thanksgiving Day, one of the most important celebrations in the United States.
The Pilgrim Fathers were not the only ones to emigrate for religious reasons. Quakers settled in Pennsylvania. Their leader, William Penn, founded the city of Philadelphia. This city later played an important role in the American War of Independence. We spoke to Robert Burchell about the beginnings of the British colonization of the New World. Mr. Burchell is a historian and the director of the Center for North American Studies at the British Museum.
In what way was North America colonized by the British?
Mainly by individuals paying for themselves and, in a minority of cases, promising their labor for a period of years.
Who were those people and why did they make the voyage?
Most of them went out to improve their standard of living. A minority, like those who went on the Mayflower, were religious refugees.
How has religion influenced American culture?
Very greatly, partly because some Americans have tended to see America as almost an Israel to which they have gone to build a new land.
What did the colonization of the New World mean for Great Britain?
In the first instance, it meant wealth and the provision of investments and returns to capital. It also, of course, was a place to which you could send convicts and other undesirables, and, of course, in general, export overpopulation.
The New World split into two big blocks. The south belonged to Spain and Portugal, and the north mainly to England. There were, however, important differences in the way each block was colonized. Mr. Burchell told us about them.
In the Spanish case, the state and the church played central roles, but in the English case, in the British case, the state and the church did not play a role. It was the individuals themselves who made the decision to emigrate and who built the societies once they arrived.
The first settlers showed the way. Many others followed and transformed the old British colony into a new nation, the United States of America.
So that was just a summary of the first years of the British colonization of North America. We hope that you found it interesting and that you've got the information to answer our questions.
The first question was, who were the Pilgrim Fathers? Let's see.
A minority, like those who went on the Mayflower, were religious refugees.
As you've heard, they were religious refugees. The next question was, in what way were the Spanish and British colonizations different?
In the Spanish case, the state and the church played central roles.
So in the Spanish case, the state and the church played a more central role.
And finally, let's check out the answer to our last question. What did the colonization of America mean for Great Britain?
In the first instance, it meant wealth and the provision of investments and returns to capital. It also, of course, was a place to which you could send convicts and other undesirables, and, of course, in general, export overpopulation.
It meant wealth, the country became richer, and it was also an answer to the problem of overpopulation.
How did you do in this short test of American history? I'm sure you didn't have any problems.
And now it's time to relax with our Play It Again. En el sketch de hoy, Sara y yo escenificaremos un ligero conflicto cultural entre británicos y americanos.
Gary will play the part of an American. Pay attention to the use of American English words and expressions that I'm sure you're going to understand, and especially to his American accent. Okay? It's tea time in our Play It
Again.
Hello, good evening. In today's program, we're having tea with a guest from across the Atlantic, from Texas. Please welcome the famous rodeo star, Gary Piquet.
Oh, yeah! Hello, everybody. I love you all. Hey, mwah! You're looking beautiful, Miss Ashton. You're a beauty you are.
Sit down, please.
Oh, like those? Paid $300 for those beauties.
You mean $300?
Boy, yeah, we say bucks over the other side.
That's all right. Would you like some tea?
Tea? I hate your goddamn English tea. I would like some whiskey.
Whiskey? Well, I'm afraid we haven't got any.
Well, it doesn't matter. Drank 2 pints before coming here. Oh, I love you, Miss Ashton. You're one beauty. But I love London, too. Yesterday evening, I went to the Wax Museum. And before that, I'd been on a historical sightseeing tour around London.
A historical sightseeing tour?
Stopped At least at 50 pubs.
Yes, well, fine. You are one of the greatest rodeo stars.
Hey. Not one of the greatest. I'm the greatest, Gary.
Yes, well, the greatest. How did you begin your career?
Oh, well, I was walking around Texas, well, Houston, you know, and there was this wild bull which had escaped. Everybody was running around in panic. But I lassoed that beauty. I pulled it towards me, and I jumped on that bull, and I rode it right back into the truck. Hey, what do you think? Huh?
Did you really do that?
I ain't afraid of no wild bull, man.
Yes, well, I'm afraid that's all for today. We'll be back tomorrow with a new guest, a British guest, of course. See you tomorrow.
We've finished?
Yes.
What a pity. I was beginning to enjoy myself.
Hey, what happened to your American accent?
American accent? Oh, that. Actually, I was born in London, but I went to live in Texas when I was 10 years old.
Then why do you speak like that?
For my fans. Could you imagine a rodeo star with an English accent? Wouldn't be appropriate, Miss Ashton. My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
A cowboy from London? Well, that's something I find hard to believe.
What did you think of my acting?
Bueno, venga, déjate de personajes y presenta el sumario.
Well, it's time to sum up. In this unit, we've learned some American English words, such as
I paid $300 for them. We've also learned to talk about two actions at different moments in the past.
he had already worked in a department store when he became a cab driver.
And we've learned to use the ing form after prepositions.
Besides being a rodeo star, I'm a champion liar.
Y por último, hemos aprendido a utilizar el pronombre one para sustituir a algo ya nombrado.
I like that car, the red one.
So that's all for today.
Yep. We traveled to the early years of American history. We had a great time with our sketch. Well, and we had a look at what we've learned in this unit. I don't think we could do more.
Now it's your turn to devote some time to the book and the cassette. We'll be seeing you in the next program of That's English.
That's right, folks. We'll be seeing you.
Have a nice day.